Hey guys, it's Gabriel calling from the Eurovision.
Hi, it's Joe.
And another year of Eurovision has passed. The 2025 grand final is done and dusted, but we have a lot to explore. So many results to discuss in an unpredictable and unbelievable year, Joe. So shall we look at all the results from the jury and the public vote? Let's do this! Alright, Joe, so the final is done and dusted. Eurovision week has come and gone once again. But what did you think of this final as a whole?
Well, I thought really small amount of points for the winner, and it was so close between
Yeah,
what was it, second and fifth?
It was a very tight pack
Yeah.
this year. All round, everything was so tight. The songs were amazing. Acts that wouldn't, there's points that normally got acts 15th, 16th this year would only get you like 23rd, 24th ish. And for example, Germany, 15th place, their amount of points they got last year would have got them about 7th or 8th. So extremely tight, but in the end, Austria taking a commanding win with 436 points. Let's just go through everything again. We had Austria win, followed by Israel, Estonia, Sweden, Italy, Greece, France, Albania, Ukraine, and Switzerland rounding out the top 10. Then followed by Finland, the Netherlands, Latvia, Poland, Germany, Lithuania, Malta, Norway, UK, and Armenia rounding out the top 20. And then Portugal, Luxembourg, Denmark, Spain, Iceland, and San Marino finishing last. We're going to go through every single act and we're going to talk about every single one. All right, Joe. How we're going to do this is we have seen there are 13 songs that have got more points from the jury than they have in the public, or more percentage of their points, and more 13 from the public. So we're going to start off with the 13 songs that benefited from the jury the most. And let's start off with Switzerland, shall we? Who got 214 points overall, 214 from the jury, 0 from the public, which means 100% of their points came from the jury. Let's start off, Joe. What did you think of this as a whole package?
I thought the song was really sweet. I think not everyone's favourite, but I enjoyed it a lot, a lot.
Second in the jury,
hmm
bottom of the public, but it was kind of expected they were going to get a low score of the public anyway.
Yeah.
It is the kind of entry that the host country can send. They know they're going to get through to the final. There's no worry about that because of the 100%, because their auto qualifiers get through to the final. If this was in a semi-final, they might have struggled to get through, but they are there, and it was a beautiful sign that came second in the jury, and that's evident.
Yeah, I think I didn't expect it to get 0 points. I expected between 0 and 100, but I was surprised.
Yeah, no, I was surprised they got 0. I didn't expect it because it is a beautiful song. The up-close cameras of Zoe and Meh, the one camera shot, it just felt so beautiful and immersive. And she's amazing. Her voice, I was a bit concerned about how her voice would be. It was perfection. She was amazing, and I can't fault this. I think Switzerland, yet again, sending absolute quality. And 10th place for a host country is really good. And to come second in the jury, again, absolutely amazing. Staging good, voice good, song beautiful, piece of art. Amazing. Alright, let's move next to the other country that got 100% of their points from the jury, and that was our own United Kingdom. 88 points in total, 88 from the jury, coming 10th in the jury, and coming last in the public with 0 points. What do you think of this?
I think this song was better live than the when I first listened to its music video.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think 0 points once again harsh.
But expected.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think, regardless if it's the UK or not, I thought the 0 points was coming. I don't think this appeals to a mass audience.
No.
I don't think it helped that the staging was extremely messy.
Yeah.
I thought the staging was absolutely awful. The girls were amazing. They can sing well. The costumes were okay, but there was so much empty space on the stage, and it's like not like it just didn't feel fully enhanced.
Yeah, I think it got 0 points because it was not in anyone's top tens.
Yeah.
It was just middle of the road for everyone.
Yeah.
And that won't get it points.
No, and yeah, I just think the staging really let it down because I think they could sing. I think the costumes were good. I thought the song was all right, and it's the UK after all. But if you would have told me we would have come 10th in the jury vote and 19th overall, I think I'd be relatively pleased. I don't think it was our strongest entry we've ever sent, but we went for something different, and you know what? I can't fault that. Let's move on to the country that ended up coming in 23rd in the final, finishing on 47 points. 45 from the jury, 2 from the public, which means 96% of their points came from the jury. It is Sissal, it is Hallucination from Denmark. Well, they got to the final at least, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, we said we got it through, but then did we expect it in the weeks coming up? Not at all.
Yeah.
But they managed to get through. I was really happy for them on Thursday. I didn't think they or anyone would expect them to get like above 15th, say.
Yeah, I don't think there was a scenario where that was going to happen. I'm not surprised they got 2 public points. The one thing I want to see during this show is the trail of songs actually, because they open the public vote at the beginning of the show. Songs, like the top 3 songs, all came within the first 9 acts. And that's interesting, I want to see. Denmark performing near the end in a really tough bunch of songs where, let me get this up. There was a really tough bunch of songs they're performing in between. There was Greece, followed by Armenia, followed by Switzerland, followed by Malta, followed by Portugal, and then Denmark, and then France, and then San Marino and Albania. And being squished right in the middle of that, there was a slight disadvantage there. Doing relatively well in the juries, 45 points puts you maybe lower middle pack, I assume that's where they were. And near the bottom of the public with 2 points. Okay. However, the outfit, I was a fan of.
Outfit was
The
brilliant.
staging, it gave such a, I wouldn't say mysterious, but like such a rave feeling.
Yeah.
The blue and the purple contrasting really well, really spotlighting Sissal and her vocals.
Vocals were
She had a slight issue with her vocals. She was losing her voice a bit, but she still pulled it off one final time. All right, let's move to Malta. 91 points in total, finishing 17th in the final. 83 points from the jury, 8. Yeah, that's right, 8 from the public, which means 91% of her votes were from the jury. This is an interesting one. 83 points from the jury, 8 from the public. So you would have thought it would have been the other way around.
Yeah.
However, she has a very good voice. She was in that pack of songs that we were just talking about that Denmark were in. Malta being a small country, they don't have any neighbours, they always struggle in the public vote. But I didn't expect them to do this badly in the public.
No, neither. I think 8 points was low. I think 83 from the jury is not what I expected. As you said, I thought it would be the other way round, maybe even higher from the public. But 8 points, really, really shocking. It was an okay song, but
to the casual viewer, they do not know the background behind the song. They do not know that she performed in the Maltese national final. Maybe this information is irrelevant, but this is the thing where people are coming in to vote. They don't, and there's the jurors as well. They don't know that she went to the Maltese national final with a song called "Can't," and then she won, and then she had a car crash on that night, and then she went to hospital, and there was all these rumors about her that she was too fat and then too this, and then she made a music video about it and about all the rude comments, and it was brilliant and same live, but people don't understand that.
yeah.
So you're making it for not a small amount of people that will understand her story, and maybe that's where the public were like, "This is too sexual for me. There's too much going on. I don't understand the meaning of the song." You know?
Yeah, I think it was quite chaotic on stage with the bouncy balls and everything, but
It was high quality. There was
Yeah,
budget into
yeah.
that. There was budget into Malta's staging because this had potential. It didn't fulfill its potential at all. I wouldn't have believed that 91% of its points came from the jury. 8 points is not a lot from the public, and I think it's a shame for Malta because I think this really had potential to do well, and it didn't in the end. Okay, let's move to France, who are the 5th most benefited country from the jury vote, getting 230 points overall, 180 from the jury, 50 from the public, meaning 78% of the points are from the jury. Look, this was third in the odds to win, wasn't it, on the night? And what happened to it in the end? It just kind of fell away.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was okay. Definitely more expected from the jury than public, especially like I don't really know how to say it. It was just not a very appealing song to the public.
But, yeah, because it's a ballad, but 50 points is low. I
Yeah,
didn't expect the look on Luann's face when she got 50 points. I did not expect 50 points to come her way. That is a small amount of points. There are people also playing it stupid on stage, like she was having diarrhea when the sun was coming out. I like, it kind of did, to be honest.
yeah,
I'm like, I just think maybe that's a scenario again where people, if you're not listening to the commentators at the start during the postcards, you might not know what the song's about. Think about this: there's 170 million people tuning in. Yeah, how many people know these deeper meanings inside the songs? And I'm not exactly sure about this. Sadly, only coming seventh in the final. I think it must have come outside the top 10 in the public vote, third in the jury. A shame for France because it's a really strong entry. And my seventh isn't bad,
No, not at all.
but considering we thought this might have a chance of winning coming into it, that is a big flop in the end. Anything else you want to say about
No, I think nice song, but it just didn't perform too well.
that? It's the Netherlands, because I think this is a similar category to France. 175 points in total, coming 12th in the final. 133 jury points, 42 public points, 76% of the votes coming from the international jury. Look, Claude was obviously disappointed when he got those 42 public points. I think it came fourth or fifth in the jury.
Yeah, something like that.
Disappointing in the end for the Netherlands. Again, being in the top 6, 7 in the odds to win. And I think the staging let it down a bit. I don't think the colour scheme was a bit depressing, the colour scheme.
Yeah.
133 jury points was probably what I expected it to be. 42 public points is a bit low. I thought it might be 120 in each and it might go to about... I expected him to come high overall. I really did.
Yeah.
12th is low, but when you're performing Miss Vickman, you know, it's always people are like really care about you. Like in fairness, if you're performing in front of before one of the favourites or after, it's a hard thing. But yeah, Netherlands struggled a bit. The song was quite bland. There was no massive. I love the song.
I love the part at the end. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's when people you can really. There's some acts that you cannot. It's hard to portray a message, but at the end, I think "c'est la vie" is a very common used phrase. People know what it means, and at the end, when he was and he's using "c'est comme si, c'est comme ça," and at the end, when he was with the boy, I think the full message of the song really came out to the casual viewer. Only getting 42 points though, not really a lot.
Yeah, not the best. I think it could have done better, but I was hoping for a top 10 with the Netherlands.
I think it would have been a safe bet for a top 10. But however, some could argue they think it could have come lower. Because I'm like, there's nothing. Looking back on it, the Netherlands played really safe this year. Really safe. If you think about Europapa last year, yeah, I know it got disqualified, but that wasn't safe. That was out there. And that was a sad song as well. But this, I thought, was too safe. And yeah, I wouldn't. If you would have told me it would have come 20th in the final, I wouldn't have been surprised. But at the same time, if you would have told me it would have come 5th, I wouldn't have been surprised either. And move on to Portugal, who were the 7th most advantaged country by the use of the jury, getting 50 points overall, 37 from the jury, 13 from the public, 74% then being from the jury. Got to the final, at least Portugal. The public score may not show that.
Yeah.
They came 9th in their semi-final. You can go check out our semi-final 1 reaction video down below. We had a quite big chat about Portugal, and let's expand on that. Look, I think, again, they were placed in that hard sandwich of songs in that mid of the second half. But to come, I think they came 21st in the end. Not a bad finish for them, I must admit. Considering they were bottom of the odds to qualify, a really, really good finish for them in the end. And I think it kind of deserved it. This song kind of grew on me as it's gone on. And I can't really fault this. I think the staging was slightly empty, but you don't really much. You don't want to overdo it at the same time.
Yeah, I think showing that Portugal were lowest in the odds for just the public vote in the semi-final, 13 points from the public was a bit lower than what they expected, but they couldn't have expected much.
Well, they've beaten Spain overall. Yeah. They've beaten Spain. And that is quite an accomplishment if you think about it. Spain, you could argue, dark horse some people considered going into it, and Portugal coming higher than them, again showing how the more soulful, laid-back music is winning a Eurovision this year a bit more, which brings us on to Latvia. 8th most advantaged country by the jury, 73% of their points from the jury, 158 points altogether, 116 from the jury, and 42 from the public. This was brilliant. Tautomatus, Burman, Lamy. I can't fault this. They've done what some acts have done, which is really what you need to do. Take it to the stage on a national final and just upgrade it. Don't do something completely different and just upgrade it. Unless you're Park from Armenia, which is the first one that comes to mind, because that national final performance was not good. or Denmark in that case.
Yeah.
But Latvia, second in their semi-final, public score was not taken over to the final though.
No, not at all. I think it's in a semi-final. It was slightly weaker than the first one. Would you say?
Second,
Yeah,
it was closer.
it was
Probably
closer.
weaker, but it was closer.
Yeah, but like slightly weaker. But then when you add all the big five in Switzerland and the other semi-final top 10, it just gets lower and lower and lower as more songs that you like come in.
Yeah. Yeah, when it's out of, as we said, when it's out of a group of 16, it comes second.
Yeah.
When it's out of a group of 26, I don't know where it would have come, 17th, 18th, probably
Yeah.
out. But getting a top half finish for Latvia, 13th. But Latvia have been sending good songs. You know, you could argue they deserve to get to a few finals in the row. They sent Dons with Hollow in 2024. Whatever you say, that probably deserved to get to the final. In 2023, they sent Southern Lights with Aya. That was beautiful. That just missed out. In 2022, they sent City Zeni with Eat Your Salad, and that, if it was a public-only semi-final, I don't know if it would have got through or not, but maybe it would have. I think Latvia, if they look, you could consider it an effect that as they keep on getting to finals, more good songs will apply to Supernova, and Supernova this year was amazing.
So close.
So close, so good. You know, Latvia could have easily sent a song that wouldn't have got them to the final, but the Ludwig, I reckon, would have got them there maybe. Citizeni would have got them there. I don't know if Emilia would have got them there, but Tautamatis, I wasn't sure, but the staging was good. So Latvia absolutely slayed this year. Let's move on to Spain. With a total score of 37 points, 27 coming from the jury, and 10 coming from the public, meaning 73% from the jury. Was it just me who felt the final performance might have been slightly weaker than the semi-final performance?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think
I felt there was something underwhelming about the performance in the
Yeah.
final. Yeah, that I didn't feel the proper connection to melody that I did in the semi-final. She was like all guns blazing, coming out excited, powerful, una diva valiente y poderosa. But in the final, I didn't quite feel it. Coming 24th overall, I think. Again, not a great finish for Spain. Only 10 in the public.
Yeah.
I didn't expect at all, to be honest
No,
with
I
you.
expected more. I expected much, much more.
This could have been a dark horse and come top 10.
Yeah.
But really, in reality, the slower, more beautiful songs really won over this year and caught the attention of the viewer. And this year, when you have so many songs that are split into... The juries really, really went after the slow songs this year. None of them really cancelled each other out. They really went for them, and the public went for the quick songs. And Spain just got left behind, to be honest with you. I feel like the female entries have kind of been... I know there was quite a lot of them, but some of them have really been discounted. If you think about Spain, if you think about Denmark, if you think about Malta, some of them really struggled. Switzerland, United Kingdom, especially the public vote, France. The women entries have actually fallen behind a bit, which is a shame. But if that's what the public want to go towards, they really, really just all go towards that one woman who they think, who in this scenario would have been... I'm not even sure. Peo Yuval Raphael, I guess. And then Erica Vickman, Claudia, So that's where I think it lies there. Let's move to the 10th most advantaged country by the jury, with 62% of their 256 points coming from the jury, 159 from the jury, and 97 from the public. It is Lucio Corsi. It is the poet himself. Oh my god. Wasn't this just brilliant?
Yeah, I loved it so much. I really, really enjoyed this song. I think 5th place, bit higher than where I expected.
But deserved. But deserved. Lucio Corsi. Wow. I didn't expect that. I get goosebumps listening to it. I get goosebumps talking about it. And this wasn't one of my personal favourites coming into the contest, but it's one of my personal favourites now, and it has to be. Lucio was amazing. The harmonica, the flute, I don't know what, I think it was a harmonica.
It was definitely a harmonica.
Piano at the beginning, and then his imaginary friend on the side there singing. I'm like, he was actually there, but that's what you referred him to as imaginary friend. There was something so laid back, but so beautiful, and he got quite a few 12 points. I can't fault this. Italy getting, I think it's out of the last 8 contests, they've come in the top 7 every single time.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. And I was worried this was we're going to be left behind a bit, but to come 5th in the juries, I think it was, and 10th in the public, I think.
Yeah.
Look, amazing. Really, and it's up at the top of my list now. It's one of my most played songs on Spotify now. It is brilliant. Lucia Corsi has done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Again,
Absolutely brilliant.
Italy delivering as always. And I could go on to this about hours. The staging was beautiful. It was so minimalistic. The people, I'm like, subtitles helped.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't want subtitles on Bora Bora Bustu. You don't want subtitles on Latvia, really. But with these songs that really dig deep to heart, I don't think it's a bad idea to have
No.
subtitles. I
And
really
also,
don't.
yeah, and can we also talk about how he played the harmonica, the guitar, he sung, he
Yeah.
played the
Yeah.
piano,
I'm
four
like,
instruments.
he said music is his main language, and music is his main language. Lucio was amazing. There was no denying that. He just was literally amazing. I don't have any more words. I don't want to start waffling too much because I will get carried away. Let's move on to our last 3 songs that we thought were advantaged the most by the jury. We have Austria in 11th place, 59% of their points coming from the jury, 436 in total, would normally put you third. Second in the normal Eurovision, put you first this year,
Yeah.
due to the tightness of the pack, 258 from the jury and 178 from the public. Do you know what? The reason this one was because of its public score.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have expected it to get that many points. I really didn't.
Yeah. But when it came to that final split screen between Israel and Austria, I thought Austria had won it before like they announced it.
Mm,
I think it was such a lovely song on stage. Not one of my personal favourites, but still
yeah.
really, really good.
Just think the juries and the public, the message was portrayed, the 4-3 ratio, the cinematic angles, the monochrome black and white filming, just felt JJ's emotion. I loved it before the techno bit in the final. He added, he went, ugh, remember before it. He really felt the pain, but he grew in confidence a lot compared to that semi-final performance. It was underwhelming, that performance, and the final was flawless, unbelievable. JJ, deserved winner. The outfit, I wasn't a massive fan of, but when it was in that black and white, I didn't realise that the whole song was going to be in black and white. It just was so good, and the vocals, I wouldn't have expected that many people to vote for like those such brilliant operatic vocals, but I hate it when people go, well, JJ. I saw some people the next day and they were like, oh, didn't really deserve to win. His vocals weren't really that good. I'm like, I'm sorry? I'm sorry? His vocals were. I'm like, his vocals are brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes, his vocals.
He's an opera singer, though.
It's like, well, you can't sing any better, can you? It's like, it frustrates me when people are like that. You have no taste in music. His vocals were unbelievable. You know, whether you like the song or not is a different story. I understand that it doesn't portray to everybody. Like you said, not your cup of tea because maybe opera isn't. Do you think that techno bit at the end really salvaged the song from getting less points in the public?
Well, obviously, definitely, but it was all good, like all round, really, really good. I think end at the bit at the end was my favourite. I think it was so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
Deserved winner.
Yeah, deserved winner. A low score,
Mm.
a really low score, since the new era of voting where jury and public votes have been given separately. However, still a deserved win. And JJ will be an all-time Eurovision legend now, and maybe we'll see him and Conchita host next year in Vienna. That would be just amazing, wouldn't it? Just. Alright, the 12th most advantaged country by the jury was Armenia, with 58% coming from the jury vote, 72 altogether, 40 from the jury and 30 from the public. I think this was amazing. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think it deserves to come any higher than 20th, but compared to their national final performance, where I was actually scared it was going to come like the 14th, 15th in its semi-final, to get to the final and to get 72 points in the final, which normally puts you around 12th, 13th, 14th. Obviously, this year puts you 20th. JJ, Pog was amazing. I love the mud on him. It made it feel so much more like you were involved in the act.
Yeah.
It was you that was part of it. The close-up angles, the treadmill. I thought it was really good.
It was so good, and he got his cardio in.
Yeah, he was serving treadmill. Yeah, still. I would have expected maybe more public vote.
Yeah,
30.
possibly. I think he came 10th in his semi-final,
Yeah,
right?
just squeeze you by 10
Barely,
points.
yeah, 10 points. He got 30. I think 20th he'll take.
Well, I think for these acts that are like near the bottom of their semi-final, they just squeeze through. I think they're just happy to get to the final.
Yeah, yeah,
Even Malta now, looking at they came ninth in their semi-final. 17th was not a bad finish in the end, was it?
yeah.
Really?
Do they get their results at the same time as us in the semi-finals, or like the artists?
What, as in where they come,
Yeah,
or as in just if they're going to qualify?
no, where they come.
No, we all find out at the same time on
Okay.
Sunday morning. Yeah. Germany are the last country that had over 50% of their points basically from the jury, 51%, 77 of their 151 points coming from the jury, and 74 from the public. Your favourite song, correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, one of my favourites. Just because it's new, it's a good idea, and the cello smash.
And it's in German,
Yeah,
which is interesting. Did it work that it was in German? It's an interesting concept. It's a bit of a mouthful to listen to. I wasn't a fan of the verses live, but the chorus, I thought Tinner's like ba la 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 shining. I was a fan. Would I have voted for it? I don't want to vote. I like to stay neutral. Would I have voted for it? No. Was it one of my favourites? No. But was it my cup of tea? Not really. But it was there and thereabouts. And it came 15th in the final.
yeah,
151 points is a lot for 15th as well. Normally puts you about 8th or 9th. But Germany, they were aiming to win the contest, Stefan Raab said. Now I'm assuming they're going to scrap the national final and they're going to
possibly.
internal because I think that's what he said if they don't win. But realistically, this was never going to win.
He is a comedian, though.
Yeah, I think he represented Germany once
He,
at
he
Eurovision as
did.
well. But yeah, those are the 13 acts that had the most advantage from the jury vote, and now we're going to talk about the 13 that had the most points or percentage of their points from the public vote. Alright, let's move over to the country that benefited the most from the public vote, getting 100% of their points from the public. That is Iceland. It is Vibe, 33 out of 33 from the public, 0 from the jury. We're in the final, Iceland. They came 25th out of 26 overall, but who cares, Joe?
No one. I mean, they got through. Was it in the odds that they were going to get through?
No.
No. And the 5 out of 5 Nordic countries.
And 3 out of 3 Baltic.
And
It's the first time that's ever happened where all 8 of those countries were in the final.
I think the juries, even though all their neighbours and allies were in it, no, they didn't get a single vote. I think it was definitely not a jury
No.
favourite song.
Especially with the Minecraft, and I wouldn't say unprofessionalism, but playfulism, if that's a word.
Yeah.
Very playful, not really for the jury's vocals are okay, but fun, and I think really deserved to get to the final. Uplifted massively
Yeah.
by the staging. I love the bit on the boat where they're like turning the people over, and then one's head goes up and then go round and round and back over. Just really fun on the eye, and then just the 3D-ness of it, where you have like the Minecraft Lego pieces flying around. I found it was brilliant, and
Yeah.
I was very pleased for them they got to the final, and they were celebrating that they'd won Eurovision when they got the 33 points in the public, because who doesn't love them? They are the vibe. They are like the Jedward of 2025. Let's move to Poland. Second most benefited from the public, only 11% of points from the jury and 89 from the public. 156 points in total, 17 from the jury, 139 from the public. Just missed out on the top 13. Top of the right-hand side of the scoreboard, 14th place. Disappointing for Poland, I have to say.
Yeah.
17 points in the jury is not good.
Yeah. I think when they said they'd be flying, people expected more than just her going up in the air and going down again.
It's the recap that we mentioned, they let it down for us. We didn't get to see her sing it.
No.
You really wanted her to go the NB Raga, Ura, Gara, Yaga, Yaru, na na na. That's really what you wanted to see, and instead, what did we see?
Nothing.
We just saw her
Yeah,
flying,
saw
wasn't
her
it?
up in the air.
Yeah,
and
and
down
that
again.
wasn't exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
17 points in the jury is disappointing. 139 for the public. I can't lie. I kind of expected more.
Yeah.
I expected this to come top 8, 7, 6, and it didn't.
I think 14th is still an
I
okay
expected
result.
to do that. However, in our tier list the night before the final, I think we put it in the bottom 5 or 6 because we
Yeah.
thought it would flop a bit, and it did flop in the jury. But public lifted it up a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought Justine was brilliant. She's like the biggest artist in Poland. I didn't even realise. She's like huge there. Yeah, and like it did well to get through to its semi-final. Again, 7th in its semi-final, it's going below Iceland. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
disappointing. But when it got to the final, 139 public votes. It was my family's personal favourite when you add up all the scores together. Poland, Justina, 14th place. That's not even a bad finish, though.
No, not at
14th
all.
isn't even a bad finish. But
I mean, last year, where would it get them? Like top 10?
yeah, but I think just the amount of budget they put into it probably wasn't deserved 14th, though. More was deserved. All right, let's move on to the country that was third most, how would you say? Third most advantaged, benefited by the public vote,
Yeah.
with 17% of their votes coming from the jury. That is 60 points, and 83%, which is 297 points coming from the public, adds up to 357 points in total. And by 1 point getting second place, it is Israel. Yuval Raphael, new day will rise. We had a massive chat about this in our semi-final 2 prediction video. But look, this came second. You personally prefer last year's entry more. I personally prefer this year's entry more. I
think it's changed now for me.
You prefer this one more. Jury votes, realistically, she deserved more.
Yeah.
Yes, but the 297 public votes is unrealistic. You don't normally expect Big Ballad to win the public vote. The last time a Big Ballad won the public vote must have been Salvador Sobral, which was in 2017. So you're not really expecting that, which means obviously politics is involved. And if you want to vote for Israel, obviously not every single vote is political. It's not.
Yeah.
Because
the song was great.
Because otherwise it would get 0 points. Yeah. So not every vote is political. If you say, well, I voted for it because I enjoyed it and it was great, then that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We spoke about how we think you shouldn't be able to vote for 20, just 20 votes, and you can have 20 votes per credit card, which means if you have 10 credit cards, you can vote 200 times, which is excessive, and we've said this. However, they should probably make it that you can only vote for a certain amount of countries, so you're forced to vote for a certain amount of countries.
Yeah.
Because if they say you can only vote for one country, then everyone's going to vote for Israel still, and that makes the other countries have less points. However, this was very good and deserved to come high.
Yeah.
Maybe second is a bit too high, but personally, from my point of view, if I think this year was better than last year, then in theory it did deserve higher than fifth. Did it deserve to win? Absolutely not. I think the staging was good.
Yeah, I really like the.
I thought that the outfit was good. I thought the song was okay. Broadcasters have complained about the voting system, and I think it does need a look at. It does need a revamp, because I think for people to stand in solidarity with Israel and Ukraine, etc., is fine, but for this amount of points to come out of it is a lot. Therefore, we need to have a change in the voting system slightly. Not in the 12, 10s, 8s, I love that system, but in how the public is voting for the country. But overall, I think Israel have done well. I think second, you could argue, is too high, but I think deserve to get to the final, definitely. I love the song. And another one where you can feel the emotion. And I think that's all I really have to say. Joe, anything else?
Such a lovely song. Obviously, politics involved, but still brilliant song.
Let's move on to Albania. Okay. 8th place? No. 21% of the vote coming from the jury, 79 from the public, 218 points overall, 45 from the jury, 173 from the public. The juries do not like the Eastern European countries. They do not. And the public love the Eastern European culture. Okay. This deserved Albania's best ever finish.
Yeah.
I will argue one thing. That performing at the end of the show did not help them.
No, definitely not. I think if they performed like in the middle-ish, or maybe even at the start, like 10th in the running order, they would have definitely got more jury, maybe not jury, but public.
And this is where we can include Israel in this as well. The vote opens before the show starts. If you are supporting a country before, whoever the country is, doesn't need to be political, Israel, Albania, Norway, Estonia, whoever, yes? If you're going to vote for them beforehand anyway, and you're like, well, I'm just going to tune in so I can vote, but then I'm just going to leave. It's like, they should, then it disadvantages the countries at the beginning of the show. So, you can't really win. And the rest of the world vote opens 24 hours the show starts.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world vote gave 12 points to Israel and 10 points to Albania, I believe, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Albania, 45 points in the jury is just that's a crime. They did get 12 points from the French jury, I believe, which France. How do you say I love you in Albanian or French? How do you say I love you in French?
Je t'aime. Or
Je t'aime. Oh, I don't know those. Je t'aime, je sais pas pourquoi, je joue la sème. Okay. Albania, 218 points, 8th place. Still a great finish.
Yeah.
But I would have expected more from the jury and probably slightly less from the public. It's a shame. But we move on to Norway, who were the fifth most country advantaged by the public vote, getting 75% of their points from the public, 89 altogether, 22 from the jury, 67 from the public. Norway did really well for opening the show.
Yeah.
Really well.
I mean, I love the song You.
I love it.
Yeah.
However, I think the staging was slightly, how would you say it? I wouldn't say boring. It lacked impact.
Yeah.
But again, I can't fault Kyle. I'm like, it's hard to open the show. I thought it was an obvious show opener. I really didn't think it.
Yeah.
I thought it would open the final when I don't know if it drew first half or producer's choice, but I had a feeling it would open the final. But Norway again, I think it was 18th they got. Again,
Yeah.
doing well in the public vote. They're consistently doing well in the public. Obviously 67 is not amazing, but 67 for opening the final is really good. I think they came 18th overall, which is not a bad finish, I guess.
I guess.
I'm like, I think I have a feeling Carl might come back to Eurovision in the future. However, he might be like a really big pop star.
Yeah.
I can kind of see it. If you said to me, well, name me one person from this year's Eurovision Song Contest who you think will be a massive pop star, I can so see Carl Alessandro.
Yeah.
I can just see it happening so much. Okay, let's move to the sixth most country that advantaged the most from the jury/public vote. It's a mouthful to say every single time. Estonia getting 72% of their points from the public, 356 altogether, 98 from the jury, and 258 from the public. This is interesting. Estonia actually getting 98 points from the jury is a lot.
Yeah, actually, quite a bit. I mean, it's a joke song, but he's actually like well choreographed. The dance.
Yes. The invader, and then how the invader's getting blocked off, and then they dance together. Do you know what? I can see why this got more points than Sweden. I can so see why I got more points than Sweden. It's so much more relatable, accessible, and just more funny to a casual viewer. And it helps it's in Italian, which can come across as more goofy in a way. And mi amore, espresso macchiato, por favore. Everyone knows what that means. My love, espresso macchiato, please. I'm like, Sweden maybe was a bit more less accessible. 258 points from the public is a lot.
Yeah.
But kind of deserved. I can't lie. This is good. I like. There's something. And also the funny thing is, he comes across as cocky Tommy Cash, but he really isn't.
Yeah.
He really isn't. He's actually a sweet, really nice guy. But I just think people just love this, and I did as well. 1 point off second as well. That'll probably be in his mind for the rest of the month. Oh, I was 1 point off coming second for Estonia at the Eurovision Song Contest. Estonia's second joint best ever result. Tommy Cash, all-time Eurovision legend now. Alright, let's move to Ukraine. I think I had a really odd voice crack there. Ukraine, 7th best in the public, advantaged the most. 218 points altogether, 60 from the jury, 158 from the public, which means 72% of their points as well came from the public. I actually expected this to do worse than it actually did. 60 jury points is probably where I thought it would come, and 158 points as I dropped my water bottle. 158 points from the public. I actually expected less.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite weak.
It was one of my least favourites from the final, but it was an okay song. I liked listening to it like before all the semi-finals and everything. It had gone slightly down after the rehearsals.
I think it was quite weak. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It wasn't Ukraine's strongest entry by far. Definitely wasn't.
Where did it come in the end?
9th.
9th.
Joined on with Albania, but Albania did better in the public. We get a lot of spread results. This is why it was so close. So many countries in the hundreds and late in just single digits, and a few in the 200s. No one getting 300 plus in the public or the jury vote. Yeah, I'm like, Ukraine, I wasn't a massive fan. I thought he would actually get more like 50. I mean, I was thinking for a second, after 3 or 4 juries that was in the lead, And I was like, God, this must be a coincidence that the top jurors got chosen at the beginning who voted Ukraine. And I was like, are you doing this? Because I always thought they'd have to do well-ish in the public vote.
They always do, though.
Yeah, and only
Yeah.
really since the conflict with Russia started.
But I mean, before that, they got fifth place.
Last year, the public vote was deserved,
Yeah.
330 points, because I'm like, Aliona and Jerry Hill were amazing. This year, Zifabla, I had a slight issue with his vocals. He stated, the main singer. The outfits I actually loved. The staging I thought was weak. I thought the song was weak. I thought the vocals were not great, but they came ninth, probably where I probably would have predicted them to come ish. Let's just San Marino, who were although they came last, according to this silly thing that I've made, the 8th most advantaged country from the public vote. 33% of their points were from the jury, 66 from the public because they got 9 from the jury, 18 from the public, and 27 overall. Good maths, that. Look, I think this is a shame it came last, but San Marino got to the final anyways.
Yeah, I think it's not definitely not jury friendly because it's a DJ and a singer. Like, there's not much else. But the public, I know some people who it's one of their favourite songs.
Yeah, I just wonder if people were voting more for the name itself, Gabri Ponte, than the song. The song was nice. I liked it. It was one of my good favourites. I thought the staging was really weak.
Yeah.
Really weak. I wasn't impressed. Because I thought that I didn't like the statue chewing bubblegum in the background. I thought it was just off-putting. There was not enough focus on Gabriel himself. I know he couldn't move a lot because he was in his DJ booth. I wasn't a massive fan of this live, but I was so pleased when they got to the final, mainly because it's San Marino, and I love San Marino because who doesn't? I drop my water again? Okay, Lithuania should we move to?
Yeah.
Who were the 9th most advantaged country in the public? That's interesting. Better in the public than the jury.
Yeah.
I can kind of see why in a way. They got 96 points overall, 34 from the jury, 62 from the public, which means 65% of their points were from the public. Oh, Tavoakis Matoskos Mama do do do. The UK gave this 8 or 10 points from the public.
Yeah.
I can kind of see why, because it was so unique that I'm like, who wouldn't have loved this? I thought it was really impressive. What did you think?
Yeah, I think the song is different. Some people didn't like it. I liked it quite a bit. You liked it.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, you loved
I'm
it.
like, the wind machine on Lucas's hair was like, it was really, I'm like, it gave you feelings and, it gave you a sense of desperation. That is one word I would say. Feels really desperate, that song. And I really thought it would get left behind, but didn't. I think it came like 16th, 17th in the end. So I'm like, Lithuania constantly getting to the final 5 years in a row now, I think. They're on a roll.
Yeah.
Jury score was slightly underwhelming, but the public, 62 points. 96 points, not bad for Lithuania.
Yeah, not bad.
Let's move to Sweden. Nixie Goxi Sauna. 321 points overall, 126 from the jury, 195 only from the public, yes, only 195, and only 61% of their points came from the public, which is a huge surprise. Did this get more jury points than you expected, or less public points than you expected?
I think a mix of both. I think 126 jury points is not what I expected. I expected lower in the hundreds, just 100 maybe exactly. And public, I expected 225, 250.
Oh, I expected more.
Really?
I really did. I'm like, it didn't have quite the same star factor Rimton Tekadim and Cha 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 did, and maybe that's because there was only one of them on stage compared to the 3 of them. Can I just shout out their interval act was amazing. That would have won Eurovision if that was in it. That was amazing. You know what? Sweden, they went for something different. They came 4th in the final. They didn't do badly. 195 public votes is nothing. Because I really thought it would be higher. Maybe because it was in Swedish, it wasn't quite. I don't know.
You could say that, but Sweden always does well in the public. 195, where would that put them? Third?
In the public vote, yeah, they came third. But would have Mon Zamalov done any better?
I don't know. I
don't think he would have.
I don't think so either, because the jury will find it okay.
I think jury would have put it maybe. Jury I think would have put it 8th, really.
Maybe Where did
I
you?
reckon Drew would have put it fourth or fifth or third, maybe. And Public maybe around fifth or sixth. And maybe would have finished. Yeah, probably would have been similar. But I'm happy Sweden said this.
Yeah.
Just something different they went for. Um, I really thought they were going to win. But when the voting started, I was like, Sweden need to get to around 120 odd points, 30 to win this. And then I'm like, public score, you receive, oh, it's going to be 300 or something. 195, and that doesn't even take you to the top. I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they still even held on to that fourth place. I really thought someone would have like usurped them up and gone down to fifth or sixth, but you know they kept with it. And let's move on to the last three countries we haven't talked about. It is the country that was the 11th most benefited from the public vote, getting 55% of their points from the public, 231 overall, 105 from the jury, 126 from the public. It is Claudia. It is Astero Mata. Wow, 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 wow. Better in the public than the jury. That's first of all one thing I want to say. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think you said it again. Eastern European countries and like Balkan countries not doing well in the not doing like too well in the juries. I think this song was so good on the night.
I tell you, the
So
music video
so
on Spotify isn't great because her vocals live are just, you know what she's capable of live.
yeah,
They give you goosebumps. Like, I got goosebumps talking about her.
so
She's just
good.
amazing. Oh, I got goosebumps. Okay, she is amazing, Claudia. Her vocals are flawless. The
Flawless,
concept
brilliant.
of the staging was just beautiful. How you could connect with the story of how there were the tough times and she had the migration and the tree. I don't know what tree symbolised, to be honest with you. But and then the person coming in, and then at the end she went white, and everything went. It was just beautiful. It took you on a journey, but at the end of the journey, you felt like you came out on a high, and that's how it. Greece coming sick. I'm like, that is a great finish. That's their best finish of the decade, I'd want to say. Don't think
Yeah.
Die Together came higher. I think it came like 8th or ninth. Zari came 11th. What they say didn't qualify. Last Dance, I don't know where it came in the final. Greece, amazing. I'm so proud of them. I think Claudia has done an amazing job.
She's done brilliant, yeah.
Finland, Erika Wikman. Now, this is a interesting one to talk about. 45% of our votes from the public, 88 from the jury, 108 from the public, and 196 overall. Underwhelming finish for this was in the end.
Yeah,
An
like
underwhelming finish for the Finnish woman herself.
yeah, 55% from the public is so like it was okay. 11th place. I expected it top like
And I will
like
state
top
it again. It is nice to be sexy, but when it's a sexual song, that's
yeah,
where we've seen Australia flopped. You know, Finland
yeah.
flopped. Malta flopped. You know, Finland.
It it was
I
okay.
loved her. It was. Well, I
Yeah,
think it was my favourite of the night, to be honest.
she looked terrifying.
I think there was an issue with the microphone, and there was
What, the one on the stage?
no, the big one,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
the bigger
The
thing,
gold
the
one.
big. I'm not gonna. In case I get dubbed for bad language, I'm not going to say what it represents, but this is what I'm saying. It might seem to a casual viewer that it's really random that there's this massive microphone on stage with fire coming out of it. We know exactly what it is, and we know what exactly is coming out of the microphone.
Yeah,
But someone watching for a first time doesn't necessarily know that, and that's where I think the song gets left behind. To be honest.
yeah.
And Erica Vickman, I love you, Erica. I love you. And maybe she'll be back in the future. You never know. Finally, the 26th nation we're going to talk about is Luxembourg. La Poupée Le Son. 49% of the votes coming from the jury, 51 from the public, 23 from the juries, 24 from the public, 47 overall. Performing in the death spot, coming I think 22nd or 23rd in the final. Luxembourg got to the final. I didn't expect them to at the start, but they did. And I can tell you, from a song that people slept on this song. They really did. This song was like left behind. No one talked about it. And then we got to the semi-final, and you've got like her lying on the floor, being fixed around, and then she takes controls of the dolls later on. I thought it was the perfect performance. I really did. A massive staging up from the national final performance. Really good.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think this song was brilliant and is like new. It's a new twist on an old song, and it worked so well. I mean, 23rd, it's okay. It wasn't expected to get to the final though.
Yeah, really not expected. Well, it wasn't that I was expected to get to the final,
Yeah,
but I didn't. I didn't predict it to about 2 months ago. You didn't predict it to.
I did.
You did, correct. And Joe beat me 18-16 in the qualifier predictions this year, and that wraps up our 26th. That was an hour or so, but a thoroughly enjoyable hour. But let's quickly go through about which countries I think have had a brilliant contest. I think Austria will be thrilled.
Yeah.
I think Israel will be thrilled. I think Estonia will be thrilled. I think Italy, Greece will be thrilled. I think Latvia will be thrilled. I think Armenia will be thrilled. I think Portugal will be thrilled. And that's probably about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Countries that have flopped really badly: Sweden, France, no, not Switzerland, Finland, Netherlands, Malta, Spain.
Yeah.
But what an enjoyable contest. The staging was brilliant. The host, coming to what, Hazel Brugger. She is now, from semi-final one, I was like, oh, who is this quirky Swiss annoyance? And then, I am Hazel, the one who refuses to wear trainers and was named after a nut. I loved her sense of humour. It wasn't rehearsed, it was so natural, and I loved Hazel Brugger. She was brilliant. But, Joe, we have got a lot of content to make, I must admit. We have got, how many months till Junior Eurovision? 7, 6? So a lot of time to do stuff, and the national finals will be back, and I'm so excited for Eurovision next year already. I don't want to wish my life away, but I am excited, I must admit. Fill you in for the off-season, because we're not going to stop. We want subscribers, so subscribe. You know what? We've got 400 subscribers, yes,
Yeah.
and that's amazing. Can we aim for 1,000 by this time next year?
I wish. I mean, we'll only keep growing. We're only keep growing. We're never going to stop.
You guys are just amazing. And Joe, it's been so much fun on this brilliant journey. But now it's time to reflect on 2025 in different aspects of ranking songs instead of actually reviewing, because that is Eurovision 2025 done and dusted. And we will see you guys next time. And subscribe. Bye.